Okay, yeah, so I invite you to close your eyes and let's connect with our breaths. Take some deep, long, slow breaths in and out together. Take in all this oxygen that the trees and the plants around us are producing. Just by this very act, we are in the circle of life, just by breathing every breath. In this circle of receiving and giving, or giving and receiving. Receiving the oxygen and giving back carbon dioxide. I think that's a very simple and beautiful metaphor for the native way of living, actually. So I invite you to continue breathing like this, in this exchange, in this giving, receiving. And we can feel just how it feels in our body right now. What's the body doing? Does the body want to move a little bit? Or is it happy? Is your body happy to sit still? Let's scan through the body. Can go from our feet and up. Let's register every part, the feet, the legs, moving up to our belly and our back, and up through our chest and our arms, and up through the throat and the neck, up to the head. See how it feels up in the head. See if I have any thoughts going on in there. Is it a clear sky in there, or is it cloudy, full of thoughts? Is it what kind of thoughts? Are they joyful or happy thoughts, or do you feel calm or stressed right now? And let's see if we can connect with the part of us that is observing our thoughts. Who or what or where in you is observing the thoughts? Let's see if we can let go of the thoughts. It's like the clouds in the sky. And let's leave the head. In our civilization, we have a tendency to get stuck up in our head. So now we're gonna leave the head and move down to the heart, which is the center, which is our center actually, and the center, definitely the center of a native life way. It's not up in the head, it's in the heart. See if you can connect to your heart. Can you feel your heart? How does it feel in there? I'm gonna, today, as I have the last times, I'm gonna drum a little bit. Maybe that will help us to get in touch with the heart. While I'm drumming, you can see if you can feel how fast your heart is beating. Is it beating faster or slower than the sound of the drum? See if you can feel any feeling of love coming from your heart. It's the place of love in the body, which I think most of us are aware of. I think that's the energy of the native life way that we will be exploring today. You can connect with the feeling of love in your heart. See if you can let that feeling spread out through your body. Just fill your whole body with this feeling of love coming from the heart. Let's see if we can spread this love energy even further out in the room where we're sitting. Maybe you can send it towards a specific person or somebody or many people maybe. See if we can send it out to the whole area that we are in. Then we spread it out even further to the whole bigger area. It's like a big, expand this big ball of love coming from us. There's actually no limit to how far this energy can reach. See if we can just feel how it feels to sit here with this energy coming from us. And then see if we can sense this energy coming to us as well. It's giving and receiving. See if you can sense it coming from the other people here, that we're here in this circle tonight. Just notice how that feels. Let's take a few more deep breaths in and out, this giving and receiving this energy that we are in now. And then when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, and then we arrive here in this sharing, this circle tonight. Right, hope you enjoyed this improvised guided meditation. That will set the tone for the sharing tonight. So I will start with introducing Tamarack and say a bit why I invited Tamarack here to share with us this evening. So I've known Tamarack now for over 20 years. It was over 20 years I first heard about Tamarack and got in touch, and I heard about the school that he founded, the Teaching Drum Outdoor School in Wisconsin in the United States. And I read this article about a man who had been to the Wilderness Guide program Tamarack started, and then I got very inspired because back then I was looking for something just like that. I had started learning about the native life way and reading about it, mostly just reading about what it's like to live like that. And then I was like, I want to learn how to live like that. And I didn't know how to learn that. We had some friends that got together and we organized our own gatherings and we started to learn these skills. But I had this feeling I need to go somewhere where there's more knowledge around this. And then I read this article and then I felt like this really resonates with me. This is what I'm looking for. So connected with Tamarack. I remember I wrote down actually my life story and I sent it to you so you would have a feeling for who I was. And then, yeah, we were a bunch of people that came together and we were out there for a whole turn of the seasons or a year. And I learned so much about living in balance with nature and living in a circle. And yeah, so much more than I could ever imagined. And then I've been continuing on the journey and continued being in relationship with Tamarack and the school and been back a number of times, a whole bunch of times, back and forth, and we've been connecting in many different places, and we keep regular contact over the years, and it's been a long guidance from Tamarack and mentorship and also friendship, and Tamarack, has you have so much experience with this way of life. I will let you share more about how you learned about this native life way. But I've heard so many stories about all the elders that you have met and apprenticed with and living with the wolf pack, and then all this experience from living out in nature yourself and just communing with all of life out there and learning all these skills and this relationship, establishing, learning about all these relationships and ways of relating, and then also founding this school and having all these students over the years and learning, living in circles, and there's so much to share, and you have so much experience from this. So yeah, I think that's enough of an introduction. So I will hand it over to you, and let's see if you come with if you want to share about yourself first, or if perhaps there's a story coming first.
Well, hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you. I so much feel privileged in being able to share some of my story because the elders have taught me that story is the best way we learn. Everything is story. There's a poet, Muriel Rickhauser, who says that in one of her poems, she says that the universe is not made up of atoms, it's made up of stories. And everything we remember is not a fact, but there's a story around every fact we remember. Everything is a story. Everything within us, everything around us. So I'd like to start by just telling a story about relationship, because story is relationship. There are always characters in stories who are interacting with each other. And this story I'd like to share with you takes us back to the time when I was in my early 20s. I was apprenticing to native elders, and I would oftentimes ask them questions. I was a pest, in fact. I was all full of questions. I had all this curiosity about how they lived in balance with the earth and their relationship with the animals, with each other, how they lived in clan. And there was one time I was with a Blackfoot elder in North Dakota, And I was asking a lot of questions. I was following him around. I was his shadow, you might say. And after a little while, he stopped and he turned around and he said to me, Tamarack, uh, it's really great that you have all this inquisitiveness. You want to know, you're hungry, you want to learn. This is beautiful. But you know what? And he said this very respectfully. The elders are always respectful with me, no matter how much of a fool I made of myself sometimes. They were always very, very gracious with me. He said essentially, you know, Tamarack, every time you talk, you're not listening. And every time you ask a question, um, you are narrowing what you can hear because you want an answer to your question. And there's so much more that's being given to you. And your questions are based on what you already know. But if you're listening, you're open to everything and anything, not just the answer to your question. And it made sense to me right away. And I'm sure I felt I felt ashamed. He didn't shame me, but I blushed. I felt embarrassed. You know, of course, I have to listen. Um, so I learned a lot from that one experience. I learned about the power of story and the power of listening. And I'd like to share a story about listening that happened when I was in my early 20s. The elders would often say when I had a question, um, they would say essentially, instead of me answering the question, go and ask Wolf, because that's where we learned. When we were young, when we were your age and younger even, we would go ask our uncles and our elders these questions, and they would say, go and ask Wolf, because that's where we learned. That's what we were told when we were young. And the wolf human relationship is very, very close. We evolved with wolves. It's wolves who taught us how to hunt. It's wolf who taught us how to live in clan. It's wolf who taught us how to stand up on two legs and run. We are the best runners on the planet, believe it or not. We can run down any animal, not for speed, but for endurance. Many animals are faster than us, but nobody can run longer than us. So we have this close relationship with Wolf, and I felt very close to Wolf, even though I hadn't seen a wolf in my youth and my childhood at all. Just felt the spirit of Wolf in the woods. And one day, I had an opportunity to rescue a family of wolves from a zoo, and this zoo was closing down, and there were the parents and their litter of pups. I rescued the pups first, and that's a whole nother story. But what I really want to tell you about is my relationship with those pups. Uh, I was their I was their parent. I raised them, I bottle fed them, and we were very close. And when they got older, they formed their own family. Now, I'm not saying pack because the elders uh, corrected me on that. Wolves live together in family. It's not a pack at all. A pack is a group that gets together to hunt or whatever. Wolves always live in family. There are the parents, sometimes there are elders also, grandparents. Then there are the children, and sometimes there's some grandchildren there too. It's a big extended family. Any quote unquote pack is really a family. So that's the term I like to use and like to encourage others to use too instead of pack, because they are very social animals, very family oriented. So I rescued these wolves, and when they grew up, in return, they adopted me into their family, and I was no longer their parent. I was just one of them, and I lived with them for 5 or 6 years, and I learned so much about what it is to be human through being with that wolf family. It was the first time that I was accepted for just who I am. I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. I didn't have to show any credentials. I just had to open my heart. That was it. Just as Johann was talking about in the guided meditation he did, the heart is the center of our being, and the heart is the center of Native Lifeway. When Native people come together, they connect heart to heart, always. Not head to head, but heart to heart. That's why it's so easy to be sincere, to be a truth speaker, to be able to come to know each other for who we truly are instead of this pretense we oftentimes put up. And we're able to share our feelings without having to be guarded and have boundaries up, but just to be who we are. That is essential to relationship. First of all, with ourselves and with each other and with nature, with Mother Nature. We have to come from a heart place. So I'd like to tell you about what it's like to wake up in the morning um, with with a family of wolves. It's when at first light, even before the sun breaks the horizon, at first light, you can feel the energy. There's an energy. The birds start singing. A couple birds start singing before we humans can notice the light because they notice the early light. And the wolves start to stir. They get up and they start stretching, and then they go to relieve themselves. And as it gets lighter, we all come together and we check in with each other. First of all, we make sure everybody's okay. We look at each other and we smell each other, and then we rub our bodies together to connect, to physically connect. There's this hunger that we experience in civilization, and it's called touch hunger. We don't touch enough. We don't connect enough. And this, and a lot of people suffer from it. And no problem with wolves. They're touching each other all the time. So we come together and we rub our bodies together and we lick each other's faces and we just feel so good about all being together. And then we share our dreams. We do this intuitively. Wolves dream, we dream. And the dream self is very, very important for wolves and for us humans because it's an emotional cleansing. That's one reason we wake up refreshed in the morning, because our dreams have cleansed us of all that emotional sludge from the day before, so we can start fresh with our relationships. So we rub our bodies together, we share our dreams by reading these intuitive impressions from each other, and then we set up a group howl. Arrgh! And it reverberates through the woods, and all of the other animals come alive too. The birds are singing. Everybody is feeling the joy of the morning, the start of the day, and then we we settle down and relax. Even the little pups are howling. It's so cute to listen to them howl because they have this high-pitched voice and they're trying to howl right along with the adults. It's just so beautiful. The whole family's howling together. Then we relax and we go down to the stream and we get a drink of water. And then it depends upon the day. If we have something from our previous day's kill, that's what the pups will eat. The adults oftentimes don't eat. The adult wolves, they can eat up to 10 kilos at a time. So after a kill, the adult wolves will just literally bloat themselves with a lot of food and then lay around and digest it and might not eat again for 2 or 3 days. Sometimes they will eat again, sometimes they won't. So if there's food around, they're in no hurry to go on the hunt. So, but if we are, then we take off for the hunt. And when we go, it's silent. It's always silent. And it's not what is done, but how it's done. Yes, we're taking off. We're excited about the hunt. The adrenaline is flowing. We have this synergy. We're all there for one purpose, to get food for our elders, to bring food back for the pups. Giving is receiving. That's one of the primary um, philosophies, you might say, of native life way. Whether it's wolf or human, it's always giving before receiving. If you were at a wolf kill, let's say our family went out and we came upon a wounded red deer and we killed that deer, and you'll notice that the typical image of wolves is that they run in and they jump in and they tear the animal apart and they're gobbling the food down. But if you were there, you would see something different. You would see the elder wolves stepping back, and the adolescents and the pups would be allowed to come in first to eat. Or the females who were lactating, who were nursing the pups, they get to eat first. And if there's not enough food for the others, that's okay. They can go out and kill again. But the females who are nursing the pups have to have that nourishment. The old ones or the wounded, they're allowed to go in and eat first. It's just so beautiful to share a meal with wolves. It's beautiful. Now, I'll just toss this in without getting too much off track. But oftentimes people have this view of how wolves eat by seeing captive wolves, caged wolves, and someone will throw some food in. You see them all descending upon it and tearing it up and going crazy. That is because they're caged animals. They're not acting the way they would normally. The same way with us. When we are caged, when we're not able to be our normal selves, we act very differently than if we were living in nature, immersed in nature. We would be acting very differently than we do in the city. Same with wolves. So this is where me and the others like me are breaking down this stereotype about how wolves are, because most people don't know how wolves are naturally. So what I'd like to do to wrap up this story is to compare this with the way we wake up typically. Um, we Most of us in the city will wake up to an alarm clock. It doesn't matter where the sun is in the sky. We have to be up at a certain time in order to go to school or go to work or whatever. So we wake up to the alarm clock. Right away, that shocks our process from going from sleep time to awake time, and we don't have that connectedness with our dreams. Boom, our minds are blank and we're thinking about what we're going to do today. Oh, I have to do this. I have to pick that up. I have to be at work at 8 o'clock and all of that. So I take a shower, I grab some food, and I'm out the door. Or I have kids to take care of, children to take care of. Whatever the situation is, we are really not present. We're not present with the dawning of the new day and all of the promise that that holds. We're not connecting with the mother, with Mother Nature and what she has to share with us for the day, checking in with the weather, checking in with the animals who are waking up with us. We miss all of that. We miss nature speak, that connecting with the language of nature. Instead, we might turn on the news or turn on something else that gives us an artificial connection, not a direct connection. So right away, we are out of sync with life. We are very involved in our own life, or maybe the life of our family and our kids, but not life in general, not the hoop of relations. It actually distances us from that. The more we turn into ourselves and focus on ourselves, on our egos, the less energy and focus and attention we have for the hoop of life. And that's why we have such a nature disconnect. That's the primary reason. Every day is a new day, and we need to connect first thing with the mother, our true mother. That's where all our nurturance comes from. The meditation we did with Johann about connecting with the breath and how we breathe with the trees. We could not breathe without the trees. The basic essence of life is breathing. All of life has to breathe. And if it weren't for trees, we would not be breathing. So we have this intrinsic connection with the trees, the children of nature. So when we acknowledge that first thing in the morning, right away, we have this connection. We feel it. We feel it intuitively. And this is a big difference between native people and how they live, how wolves live, how all the rest of life lives, and how civilized humans live. There's that primal disconnect. And this is, if there's anything that this person would suggest to you, it's to start your day by going outside right away, connecting with the mother. Doesn't matter what the weather is, what the season is. Just go outside and open up. If you want to do a specific ritual, that's fine. If you just want to be, that's beautiful. All you have to do is be. Just be open, just breathe, just look, just feel. If it's warm enough and feels comfortable, go out barefoot. That's all the better. Because you got this direct connection with the mother, and there's this subtle electromagnetic energy that the mother produces that goes up into our bodies, and we feel it. It's a cleanse that helps us to it uplifts the spirit, you might say, which gives us a very empowering way to start our day, no matter what we do or don't do. If we start the day that way, it's going to go better. So I think that's as much as this person would like to share right now as far as an opening story goes. And very much like to connect just briefly with each of you. If you could, Johann and I were talking earlier, and we were thinking that if each of you would just give your name and just one sentence about what was just shared with you, about what it meant to you, or what it brought up inside you, what it brought alive in you, anything you'd like to share that's right front and center for you right now. So just your name and then briefly one sentence about what's resonating with you right now. How does that sound?
I think that sounds great, Tamarack. Let's imagine we send around the talking stick, and I will. Well, I can start. I felt very inspired and touched by your story, Tamarack. I will pass it on to, let's see. I will, and I want to add also, it could be a question, as you shared, Tamarack. It could be a question, or it can be anything, whatever is alive in you right now. So I pass it to somebody, and then you pass it on to another person. I pass the stick to Helena.
Yes, my name is Helena. I thought the story was very beautiful. I felt very moved with, yeah, the way you told me how it was to be with the wolves. Yes, send it to Maria. From
I'm not sure if Maria is here. I know
okay,
she needed to do something. Yeah.
Ann-Katrin Peters.
Thank you. My name is Anne, or I call myself Anne, and I was also very touched. And I was thinking of this morning where I thought I need to go out, like the first thing, as you said, I want to go out. But then I was thinking I'm busy and I didn't do it, and I just hear you and feel like, yes, I like this course has made me feel that I want to be out, and yes, so tomorrow is a new day.
All right.
You.
Yay. Beautiful.
I will pass it on to Nicolene.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, my name is Nicolene. That was the best story I've ever heard. I was so touched, especially the part where you were talking about heart to heart, living the heart to heart with all the creatures you meet, instead of head to head. Yeah. Passing on to Lisa.
Thank you. To start the day with our mother. I really like that part. And I Tuva.
Yes, hello. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Like all of that was touching, but what popped up right now was really just about the wolves in captivities, and I mean essentially that we are also in some kind of captivity as humans. I really feel like I want to cry, like thinking about that. Like how, like the potential that we really have to live in harmony and peace in more our natural way, and yeah, how we it's hard for us to do in our current situation. And I pass it to Anneli.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much. Yes, it was beautiful to hear you share. Um, Something that really resonated with me was firstly, I think it was related to Johan, your meditation. You said something about leaving civilization, like the mind, and going into nature or the wilderness when you go into your body. That kind of stuck with me, like a nice visual. And I also really liked the way you described that when you wake up with the wolves, everybody is singing, the birds are singing, and the wolves are howling. They're celebrating the new day. And I was inspired to like start the day by just singing and celebrating like all of nature does in the mornings. Very beautiful.
Yay. Wonderful.
Daniel, Lily.
Yes, thank you. Um, I got very inspired. What I hear is very close to my heart. Say like this. Yeah, close to my heart. I always go out in the morning and standing with my bare feet on the ground and listen to everything waking up. I love it.
Beautiful. Yay.
I pass it on to Folke.
Like having some technical difficulties here. Perhaps we can't hear you. Yeah, let's see. Maybe if I do that. No.
So,
yeah, now
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the sharing, and I've been so inspirational of it. And yeah, and my name is Folke, and yeah, as I say, I've been inspiration about that every morning. Wake up and thank the Big Mother, and yeah, I also, the first thing I do when I wake up is walking down to the bus. So every morning I thank you for thank for this day and what's coming. And so when you talk about to being connected with the mother, is like, oh, I want be more out in the forest to get connected. So yeah, thanks. And see, you can go back to send it to Charlotte.
Hi, Tamarack, and hi, everyone. I love to just hear your stories, and I'm very excited to get more of them. And I got so curious about your role with the wolves. And it also leads me to the question of, like, the human, what is the human essence? What we as humans, what is our role actually in the whole system? I'm trying to rewrite that, re-understand that for myself. The positive, obvious role that we have on this earth, what is that to you, humans? And then I got, curious also to hear what was your role as a human with wolves. When did you get to eat? So thanks. And with that, I will pass it on to let's see, Mona.
So, I'm Mona, and this was very so lovely. Makes me longing for just be in the nature, connect with heart to heart, and more also touching what you talked about, the touch that we need that so much more. Yeah, I'm also curious of listening, more listening. Thank you so much. And now I ask Henrik.
Yes, my name is Henrik. I would also like to say I was both touched and inspired about your story, and I think I was really thinking about, and you made it quite obvious how more like nurturing it is for everyone to be connected, like to wake up with nature instead of an alarm clock and like fight your way to work through traffic, and also how you can set the tone for each day by making decisions when you wake up and be connected to Mother Nature straight away. And I pass the word to Simon.
Yes, hello, my name is Simon. what resonated with me was, or is probably the family or the pack life, like I want to live more like that, and I'm trying and I'm failing, but I'm trying again. So yeah, that was what resonated with me. I'll send it to Anton.
Hello, can you hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, hello, Tamarack. Yeah, definitely. I just kind of just joined last minute. But yeah, I resonate also a lot. Yeah, I really also I want to live my life more this way also, and I'm getting better at it every day, more and more. So yeah, this person really enjoys listening to your person, definitely. I will send it. Is there another Anton here? Holmberg?
Yes, there is.
Cool. Send it to you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Paula. This is Ylva and Leo and Anton.
Yeah, it was very nice to hear about going out in nature first thing in the morning. That is something that I've involuntarily been doing the last week because we're dog sitting, and the dog definitely wants to go out the first thing in the morning. But it's been very, very nice to do that, and it's definitely something I want to continue doing. Just a lot of mist and just it's a very good time of the day to be out.
And I feel very grateful for all the touch we get right now because he likes to lick our face all the time and it's cozy. Vem har inte pratat? We sent to Filippa.
Hey, I was also, like many of us, very inspired to go out in the morning much more. I did it yesterday, and it was so nice, and I thought, like, I really need to do this more. So I got inspired, and also I was touched by that. The wolf pack living, how they interacted with each other, checking in with each other each morning, and it was beautiful to hear. Thank you. I will send it to Anja.
Hello. I'm Anja, and thank you, Tamarack, for sharing such great stories. I think what resonated, several things that you said, of course, but really this energy you described before the first light and the birds waking up. Oh, now my phone is ringing just this moment. but checking in with everyone and being there in the morning before the light, and how simple it can be to just do that when you wake up. Thank you. I'll send it onwards to Eva.
Hi. My name is Eva. Thank you so much for your story. It's always really nice to listen to you, and very inspiring. At the same time,
also a little like it creates so much longing, which is a really nice feeling. And at the same time, it's also a little bit like, but yeah, it makes you feel alive and maybe also reflect me a little bit on a wish to reflect on my relationships to mornings, and how to work with mornings, because I feel they can also be very overwhelming, and sometimes difficult to synchronize with other things happening in your life to make them less overwhelming, or to do the going out, to wake up from yourself. The balance sort of. It's really nice to maybe push myself again more in trying new things. So yeah, thank you.
Beautiful.
I will send it to Mai.
Hello, my name is Mai, and what touched me, or what's present from the story, is when you told about how the wolves were waiting, and how do you say, letting the mothers, or the wolves that were lactating, how they let them go first and the children, and I think about how most part of the society here looks like, with the elders, with the retirement homes, and not living together with the family, but they are put into these places where there are workers who take care of them, and it's so foreign, like, to give them away in that way. So it makes me a bit sad when I think about it. And yeah, we have a lot to learn from the wolves, for sure. Thank you. I will send to Lotta.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lotta, and I just want to say that I'm happy and thankful for have the possibility to be here and to listen to your stories. Thank you. And I send the word to Andreas.
We have some technical issues here. I'll pass it on to someone else in the meantime. Pass it to Leah.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, now we hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll shut down my thing here then. Okay, so you're hearing me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you. I was really moved and touched, Tamarack, that you're kind of reaching out to us, that you're sitting there. I've heard your name for many years since I joined one of your courses long ago, and now you're across the time and across maybe the Atlantic. You're speaking with us and taking the time, and you've done so much and been in contact with all these groups, and now you're talking to us, and we're these I feel atomic souls somewhere in Europe, wandering about, and I just felt that many of us, including me, are so far away from this native life that you describe. I was very curious hearing the beautiful story about the wolves and thinking, is it really possible? How can that be? Has he really done that? The stories I have been hearing are more like people being eaten by the bear that they would live with. Or I worked at the national radio, and reported on a pregnant woman being eaten by the wolf that she had been raising. The super tragic story. And that's what I thought was what happened. So I just felt also this sadness, like Mai said, about us being so detached from this beautiful and true life, I believe it is, that you describe. But also hope. A lot of your other reactions also indicate hope, and the beautiful first weekend we had with Johan and the others gave me also hope that we can try as much as we can to come closer to that. Thank you. And I'll pass this on. Who has not been speaking? Is Lars around? Maybe not. Maybe maybe you see better who's not been talking.
I am around. Yes.
Okay, good, Lars. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Lars, and I felt very moved by the wolf story because our most frequent neighbors are wolves, and I think I've never felt so cared for in a forest when I have these guys around. They check in, I feel, a lot on me, and I check in on them a lot as well. So that really resonated with the life with wolves that we have together out here in the forest, at least. And I'm passing the word to Leah.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your story. I really like the picture of that every day is a new day and it starts over. And I also got the picture that the difference between humans in the wild and humans which are not wild, the humans that live in the cities. And I think I have to think about it more. Thank you. And I can't see which hasn't talked. Johan, can you pass it?
Yeah, pass it to Lisa.
Yes, hi, I'm Lisa. When you were speaking and sharing this story, it's more like a deep sensation in my body, and it's like a remembering and a longing. And it's, for me, it was also a reminder, like when sometimes I'm in the city, staying in the city, and sometimes I'm in the country around forest and waters and animals. Also a reminder I can actually do this here in the city as well. Because it's quite easy for me to forget when I'm here, because the connection is not in my face like it is when I'm in the forest. So thank you. And has Anya spoken?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I need to turn the page then.
Or I can pass it to somebody.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Erika?
Hey, hello. My name is Erica. Love the story with the wolves. Very touching, and I thought of what a great storyteller you are, Tamarack. That it's so joyful to listen to, just someone being so nice at telling stories. And I thought to myself that I'm very glad that I have the life opportunity to wake up with the sun and just decide the days, mainly every day, how to how to start them, and that I also thought about like the kids, like how I usually have a pretty like calm morning, checking in with my partner and these kind of things, and really like wolf like you said in the story, but how the puppies or the kids don't have, how they usually have a more rushful morning, or like wake up earlier and they have to get to preschool or school or something. And I thought to myself, like, okay, how can I do this so they actually have a better start in days also? Like now when they are so young that they can't really decide for themselves, how can I create it for them? So that was in my mind. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to pass it on, or should I?
Let's see. No, you can do it, Johan. Thanks.
But Erik?
Oh, hi everyone. Thanks to Tamarack for being here with us digitally and sharing your wisdom, and thanks for everyone for sharing your thoughts on this. I just feel a lot of things come up in my head, a little hard to sort it all. I really one thing I resonate with is what what was talked about with being inside your head and kind of being disconnected from nature. I had this kind of strange situation where I've spent basically all my life kind of trying to care for nature through my head. Being a scientist in different roles, going to UN conferences and all this stuff. Kind of maybe starting from a position where I just found some love for nature, but also as a kind of an object for study. So there is some kind of connection, but I've never kind of explored that closer. And I feel like I think this course kind of taps into, or is part of, something I want to do now, just connecting more with myself, connecting more with nature. And I'm, through the literature we had for this course and from what you're saying, Tamarack, I really like the perspective of seeing our fellow creatures as teachers. As I said, like coming from a scientific background, like animals are nice and beautiful and objects of study, but I've never had this perspective that they're also teachers. So I really kind of like that. This is kind of just seeing things from a completely new perspective that I really appreciate, and I hope to be able to kind of go deeper into, the emotional connection and the deeper bond with wildlife, kind of often being stuck in the city. I've also lost track of where we are. So if you know anyone else who hasn't spoken yet, Johan, please direct the talking stick to them.
Okay, I pass it to Bella.
Yes, hello. I'm Bella, or Isabella, and I really enjoy listening to your story as well. And I think was standing out for me mostly was, this way of living, just being present and in contact with nature. That, I myself also have really. It's a challenge. I'm really balancing that. Like sometimes I can really feel it, and sometimes I really lose it, and I go in between all the time, like trying to manage life. So that was standing out, and also this with the waking up without an alarm clock, which I haven't been doing for years, and really would have a hard time if I would have to change my life and go back to that. Yes. Yeah, I don't know either who I could pass it to. So you might maybe help me too.
Yes, so I pass it to Per, who is the only other person here who has actually met Tamarack in real life. It's my brother, Tamarack.
Well,
yeah,
I get to meet him.
Yeah. See if he's. I think the microphone is on now. Can't hear him though. Right, maybe there's some technical difficulties. Anyways, I see this sharing has taken a while, so I think we should dig into all. We have a whole bunch of questions from people. Tamarack, but maybe you want to just say something around.
Hello.
Oh, now we hear
You hear
you.
me? Yeah.
Now we hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't share my video. It seems. Now I'm sharing. Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you again, Tamarack. I think it's been like 20 years maybe since I saw you before, or something like that. Yeah, it's been really nice listening to your story, Tamarack, and also everyone else. Actually, I had a lot to reflect when everyone else was speaking as well. But what resonated with me, I think, was and also what I was thinking about when we were out last weekend in the forest was how, with the connection and being present, it was so easy. It was like, otherwise, maybe I sit and meditate and I try to connect and be present in the moment. But when we were out there and I was with my kids, it was really easy to be connected, I felt, and being present. Also, the phone was off mostly, yeah, I felt a connection, but I think there's more to get there, being more connected and being even more present. So that resonated with me, being present and connect. That was something I've been thinking about when I listen to all of you. Thank you, and back to you, Johan.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we have, like I said, a bunch of questions that people have sent. So I think I just leave it up to you, Tamarack, where you want to continue from here.
Okay. First of all, I'd just like to briefly state that I so much appreciated each of you with your sharing, because it brought us together in a circle. It's no longer just me talking to a bunch of people I've never met. Now we each have stepped forward and joined in the circle, and all of our voices are here together as one. That feels really good. Thank you all for your sharing. Feels really good. A number of you sent in questions which Johan shared with me, and I'm very grateful for that, because it can help me to focus on how I can best help, how I can best serve you folks in your everyday lives, with children, with your connection with nature, with whatever. There's the philosophy, that's beautiful, but what matters is where the rubber hits the road, as we say in English, how it translates in everyday life. That's what makes the difference. It's got to work. It's got to work somehow. And the first question here is a great one. I don't know who asked the question. It's someone who has children. And this person is wondering what children's stories I can recommend. They've been reading Little House on the Prairie, if you are familiar with that story. It's about a colonial family here in America, out in the frontier. And they're concerned because of the colonial approach to the story. And this is so true. But first of all, there's something that can be said about stories, that they can be said. What a storyteller does with a story, a traditional storyteller, is to shape the story for the audience. If the story is being told to children, the story will be told in a different way than for adults. Or if the story is being told to a group of people who don't have the cultural background for the story, a lot of the cultural flavor will be added to the story to help the person understand the context of the story. So that's the first thing we can do with just about any children's story. We can change it to fit. Even the story of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, You all know the story, I'm sure. Well, that story can be changed to show the relationship of wolf in a different way to Little Red Riding Hood. There are things that can be done in that way. And this is how these stories originated. They just got warped and distorted by civilization. Many of our children's stories are old traditional stories if you were to research them. But there's one aspect of traditional stories, and that is that they are for all audiences. Native people will get together around the hearth in the evening, sit around the fire after the evening meal, and the elders will oftentimes tell stories. And there are children there, there are young adults, there are older adults, there are other elders, there are visitors. They all listen to the same story. And there's something in a traditional story for everybody. That's what's really nice about them. There aren't separate stories for adults and separate stories for children, as we have in our culture. So there's a book, there's a collection of traditional stories that I put together with a native Ojibwe man called Whispers of the Ancients. So if any of you have children, or for your own inner child, if you would get a copy of Whispers of the Ancients, there's a variety of stories in there for a variety of situations and circumstances. So I would suggest getting that book because these are true traditional stories. I'll just go right down the line with your questions here. And by the way, if you have any questions as we're going along, please raise your hand because I don't consider it an interruption. I consider it a dialogue. So I'm more than happy to stop anywhere and address whatever you bring up. Or if you have something to contribute, I'm really glad to listen to that as well. The second question here, how does one truly learn to listen to nature, not just hear it, but understand what it is saying? This is a powerful question because we go outside and we hear the birds singing. Well, first of all, the birds are not singing. They are talking, and they're talking serious stuff. They're not just out there to sing in the breeze. Of course, there's that. There's always beauty. There's beauty in everything, but they are communicating. They're communicating with the male is out there at the edge of a branch, letting his mate know who's sitting on the eggs that everything is okay. You don't have to worry. I'm watching things. I'm our guardian here. I'm watching. And that male is also letting the other males in the area know that, hey, this is our area. You know, you don't have to worry about this part of the woods because I'm taking care of it. I will let you know if there is a hawk who comes in. You will hear from me. So let's stay in touch. So this is the type of communication that's going on in nature. And if we can truly listen, and I call it deep listening, what we hear is not actually listening. It's just sound. We have to interpret the sound. We have to connect it with what is going on intuitively inside of us for it to make sense. And we have a natural ability to do this because our nature is nature. What it really takes is listening, and it's what I call deep listening, not just to the sounds, but what the sounds are saying. And it's the same with us talking right now. We are sharing words, but the words are just approximations of what we really want to say. We have a thought and we have a feeling, so we come up with the words closest to that to try to express what we're saying. But language is only 70% accurate. The real communication goes on intuitively. It goes on a deeper level. It has to do with feeling. It has to do with senses. It has to do with our memories. And that's what we want to connect with by getting between and around the words. The same in nature. There are a lot of sounds and sights, but that's all it is, unless we deeply listen. And that takes time. It takes going out. And there's one trick. When you go out in nature, don't just sit in one spot. Move. Become a movement within the greater movement. Because when we move physically, it starts moving things mentally and spiritually as well, and where it's much easier to connect. You notice that even birds, it looks as though they're sitting still, but watch their heads. Their heads are moving, so they get different perspectives, different angles. They're not just sitting. And you'll notice the bird perching will oftentimes perch in one spot for a while, then go fly over to another spot and perch, and another spot and perch, instead of just sitting in the same spot. So it's the same with us. Get out and move. Be a movement within the greater movement. I just connected with some elders. I was at a workshop this past week, and these elders would sit in rocking chairs instead of just a stable chair. They would sit in a rocking chair so that they're constantly moving while they're talking and moving while they're watching out in their porches, watching nature, just the way the birds and the other animals keep moving. So that's my biggest, my two suggestions here. One, keep moving, and secondly, listen deeply. The next question. How has your way of communicating with animals changed over time? And what has that taught you about humanity? What have they taught me about humanity? This is a great question, because in listening deeply to what you're asking here, what have they taught me about humanity? Something I learned from the native elders is that we think about us as humans, and then there are the animals out there. Well, what they see is they see us all as people. There are the wolf people and the bear people and the tree people and the butterfly people and the human people. There's no distinction. We're all people. And this is what it was like for me living with the wolves. To them, I wasn't a human. I was one of them. And they were one of my kind. There was no distinction. It was just beautiful to be so accepted for just being who I am, not a human, not an outsider coming in by any means. I was one of them. So if we can perceive ourselves that way, that'll help break down the distinction between us and nature, because we are nature. We are a child of the mother, as just as much as the wolves and the bears and the red deer, the butterflies. We're all children of the mother. All on the same plane, all equal. And we all know the same language. All we have to do is listen. Great question. Next question. What was the most pivotal point in your own journey from a quote-unquote normal life to becoming a nature-based wisdom guide? Were there any special moments when you received insights beyond the ordinary that had deep impact on you? Yeah, there were many, many, many. And I call them peak experiences. They're those aha moments when something just clicks, something just resonates, and it's as though I always knew it. And I'm sure you have those moments too. You just wonder why it never occurred to you before. And this is what I consider to be growth. And I hope to be growing in this way to my last breath. I never want to grow up. I want to keep learning. I want to keep this childlike inquisitiveness about me. And if we can each do that, forget about growing up. Be a child. Be as a child. That inquisitiveness, that spontaneity, that being in the now, being in the moment, always being amazed at what's going on around us. That is living rather than just existing. That's all it takes. Just be here now. Forget about the past. It's never going to happen again. The more we focus on the past, the more we project it into the future, and that becomes our present. We have to be here now. Then we maintain our childlike innocence and trust and openness and caring. Children care. They naturally care. Great question. Next question. I'm very curious to hear Tamarack's perspective on hunting and killing animals for food. More and more people in our modern society are becoming vegan or vegetarian due to how domesticated animals are treated in factory farming, and even today's hunting practices are very different from the original ways. I'll just go that far with the question. There's a lot there to unpack. First of all, I want to make a statement. Every living being hunts, and every living being is hunted. There's no prey, and there are no predators, and there are no vegetarians or vegans or carnivores. Those are artificial distinctions that don't exist. They're not real. If I want to lead a vegetarian life and just eat plants, first of all, the plants have life. The plants have spirits. I'm killing a plant. I'm killing many plants every time I eat a salad. And I am eating many animals too, unless those plants are completely sterilized. There are microbes and insects and larvae on those plants that we don't see, and we're eating them. Those are animals. If I want to live on just plants, first of all, I have to clear away the land, or else I have to pay somebody else to clear that land for me. And what was on that land? Animals. I am either killing or displacing those animals in order to grow my plants. And those animals, yes, I'm chasing them away, but I'm chasing them into the territories of other animals. I'm disrupting their territories, and they're going to fight because they haven't worked out their peace. They haven't worked out their balance with each other. They don't have dens. I've chased them away from their nests. I am causing suffering by creating a garden to grow my broccoli and my kale. And then I have to constantly fight nature because I have to keep the animals off of my plants. I'm constantly fighting the caterpillars and the grasshoppers and the rabbits and everyone who wants to eat my plants. Now I'm putting myself at odds with nature. Now I'm fighting the animals. So you see the picture? The distinctions that we make in trying very sincerely and honestly to be respectful of nature are, I'm afraid, not doing that. We are hurting nature by trying to help nature. Eating domesticated animals, I don't do that. I eat meat for sure. I eat fish and I eat red meat. That's the way us humans evolved. We need that for proper nourishment. I either eat roadkill, I pick up dead animals along the road, or if I do hunt, I'm hunting respectfully, and I'm hunting the surplus animals, the wounded animals, the injured animals. Or I have friends who hunt, who gift me with meat and food. If I purchase any meat, it's going to be wild-caught meat that's caught respectfully. I won't eat domestic meat. And there are some exceptions. If I go over to somebody's house and they are serving food, I'm going to be honorable and respectful, and I'm going to eat what they serve, whether or not it's a regular part of my diet. That's honor and respect, and that's what every elder I've been with has done. They are very respectful of other people and their ways without being judgmental. That doesn't mean I condone it or I would do it myself, but I honor other people for where they're at. Because if they feel that respect, then they're open to me and we can communicate, we can share thoughts and feelings. If I judge them and put them in a box, they're going to get defensive and argumentative, and there's not going to be any dialogue or any hope for change. In fact, the differences are going to become stronger. So it's really important to embrace people for where they're at and respect them. They're doing the very best they can with what they've been given. Very important. I hope that helps.
I just want to interject here and say we have 6 minutes left, but I think that you can go on a little bit longer, Tamarack.
Okay.
Or is that true?
Yes, I can go on a little longer. Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that's really pressing for you, if you'd really like to express something or ask me something, we have limited time, so please raise your hand. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Because we all benefit. It's not just you. We all benefit from this sharing.
Yeah. So we're gonna, I just want to say that we're gonna go a little bit over the scheduled time, and if you need to leave for whatever reason, you can just leave. There's no problem. If you need to put your kids to bed or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand this is being recorded, so you'll be able to catch up with us.
Yes.
When you have the time. Great. Next question. We are trying to find a more sustainable way of living as a family and am very inspired by your book, Blossoming the Child. However, we find it hard to apply in practice in our modern society. We have a close bond with our families. We have a 1.5-year-old daughter who spends a lot of time with her 5 cousins, and the whole extended family sees all kids as their own pretty much. However, we feel alone in our parenting style. They are very much modern life parents who don't question how to do things. Wow. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the beauty here of shared parenting and sharing the children amongst the parents and the children being together as brothers and sisters. That is so beautiful. That is the way we evolved to be. You know, the isolated nuclear family with a mama and a daddy, or sometimes just a mama or just a daddy, is not natural at all. It's completely a civilized construct. It's not healthy for the parents. It's not healthy for the children. They need multiple role models. So for those of you who have children, do everything you can to connect your children with other children, and you as parents to get together and share as much of the parenting as you can. It's so valuable for both you and your children. As your children get older, you're going to get more and more stressed out because you've got the sole responsibility, and it's cheating your children because they need more role models, more adult role models they can trust in their lives. It is essential. Do everything you can, no matter what the context. If you're living in an apartment in the city, if you're living in the country, it doesn't matter how you're living. Just get connected with other children and other parents. That is of prime importance. Now, the second question here is how we connect with them. There's a beauty in allowing children to just be on their own. Even if you're with parents who have different values, different ways of raising their children, if the children are on their own, they know what to do. You mix up the children. You have older children and younger children together. The older ones help to watch over the younger ones. The younger ones have role models. They know what it's about to be human. And the more we can step back as adults and from being directly involved with them and just be overseers, watch them to make sure they're safe, to make sure they're not going to hurt themselves. That's our role as parents, not to instruct them, but to allow them to learn on their own, to make mistakes, to trip and fall. That is a very important part of growth. We need to allow that. If we're there correcting them all the time and we're there protecting them so they don't skin their knees, and so they don't get into conflict with the other children, we're constantly rescuing them, and they're starting to look up to us for answers rather than exploring those answers for themselves. Very important. So even in the context of the person who wrote this, yes, it may not be the ideal situation, but there's still a whole lot you can do for your children, for all of the children, and for yourself. And one thing I like to do is that it might not work very well to hand your sister or your brother-in-law blossoming the child, because they'll start looking at it and they'll say, "Oh God, this is radical woo-woo stuff. This is crazy. Get out of here. I didn't know you were that off on a tangent." But maybe you can just bring up one little thing when it comes up in the context of what's brought up. One little tidbit that they might consider, because it's just a little bite-sized piece. It's not so threatening that way. So that's what I would suggest, just a little bit at a time. See what you can do. We have a question from Erica.
Yeah, may I just ask if you have any thoughts about kindergarten, or some people choosing to have their kids at home and some people choosing to put their kids in kindergarten from, say, 1 year old. And yeah, just some thoughts about it, if you have any.
Yes. Yeah, I sure do. I have thoughts. What's really important, no matter how it happens, is for children to be with other children. If you're not in a situation where that is possible, where it would be only you with your child, it's probably better for your child to be in a kindergarten. I hate to say that, but it's for the sake of the children, it might be the best. And if you have forest kindergartens, that would be great. I know across Germany there are forest kindergartens, and it's catching on in the United States here too, where the children are outside more than they're inside, and they're encouraged to connect with nature. And that's just beautiful, because nature is the true mother anyway. You and I are just the surrogate mothers and fathers. We're just the stand-ins, for the real mother. So the more we can incorporate that into our children's life, the better. Does that help? Great. Great. Okay. Let's see. No other hands up. Let's go on to the next question. How to think and feel if even the closest family members and friends have a great belief in modern society, may even reject or ridicule alternatives like traditional or indigenous ways. Yeah. That is a tough one. Here again, it's honor and respect. Everyone is doing the best they can at any point in time. We have learned to give away our power. We give away our health and our physical well-being to the doctors. We give away our spirituality to priests and ministers. We give away our social organization to our political institutions. We have become so disempowered that way, and we have learned to trust in all of these institutions. It's hard for many civilized people to believe that it's possible to exist without all of these institutions. They see Native people as savages. So in order to connect on that level, it's really difficult. I just basically accept. I have a brother who's very civilized. We are not able to connect in a lot of ways, but there are some openings. He's very much into natural foods, into health foods, so I can connect with him there. So there's a doorway. He likes canoeing. He likes to go canoeing, so I can connect with him in that way. So I have a doorway to nature in that way. So I do have some influence on him. And it's really not me that's the influence. It's the mother again. It's the mother who's coming into his life. And I'm helping and encouraging that, not by arguing with him about ideals or beliefs or philosophies, but by using whatever's there as a doorway. So that's my suggestion. Do not be confrontational. Go with the flow and use whatever doorways you see to connect. Because example is the greatest teacher. And the example of our lives, it's not just what we do, but how we do it that makes such a difference. If the people you are connected with see that you are living a peaceful life, you're happy, you're content, that's going to mean something to them. They might think initially that, oh, you got this crazy hippie philosophy you're living by or whatever. But when they see the effect, only actions speak. It's going to rub off. Okay, this is the last one here. Is it possible to practice native ways of living within modern society with the existing organizations we may be working in? And if so, what it would look like and what practices or ways of relating to the world may help us to do so? Perhaps also with reaching others. Or should we search and perhaps build communities outside the system? I think both approaches are really important. We have society as it is, and there's no place to run. You know, we can drop out and go and start a community, and that's really good. That's good for us and our children, perhaps. But what's over the fence? Civilization is there. Civilization is not going to go away on its own. Well, eventually it is, of course, but civilization is here now. And I personally feel a responsibility to help change the system as it is, to work from within and without. I think both approaches are important. I live in community. That's the only way I would live. And I am connected with the outside world. I'm connected with civilization as well, helping to work on making change within that system. So I think any approach that we can make, first of all, to take care of ourselves and our families and our children, and then to help transform our society is good in any way we can possibly do it. And a lot of that just has to do, again, with not what we do, but how we do it. If I'm in the city and I'm walking somewhere, I want to get somewhere. I want to, let's say I'm going to the airport. I want to go see a movie or a bus stop or whatever. I'm walking from point A to point B. And if I typically would do that, I'm future projecting. All I care about is where I'm going. That's what I'm thinking about. And I'm missing so much in between. I have a friend who lives in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in New York City, center of New York City, in a high-rise apartment up on the 6th floor. And she writes a nature column, believe it or not, based on what she notices in the city. There are flowers in planters out on the balconies, and she watches the bees and the hummingbirds come to the flowers, and she watches the falcons nesting on the buildings and hunting the pigeons. And at night, the foxes and the raccoons come out in the city, and she notices the plants coming up between the cracks in the concrete and the ants and all of life, even in the city. And she writes a nature column based on that. It's just amazing. And it's just that nature is everywhere. Nature's not just out there. What are these concrete buildings? Concrete is just stone. And the doves and the pigeons and the other birds, they don't see that as a building. They just see that as another cliff. And they're nesting on the cliff. It's natural to them. So if we see it that way too, it can open our eyes to what is around us and not be so judgmental. So that would be my suggestion. And in walking, to be aware, to be observant, we can train our senses all the time to notice what is going on. I'm training myself as a guardian all the time. So I have a lot of fun sliding in behind somebody and shadowing them and walking the way they walk and noticing what they notice without them noticing what I'm doing. So I use my time in the city for guardian training. There's just so much that can be done to bring life to a supposed dead city and see the life there. So that would be my suggestion, just to come alive wherever we're at with whatever we're doing. Life is what we make of it.
Right, Tamara. I think there were two more questions that you might have missed, and I see there's some in the chat too. You still have some energy?
Yeah, you bet.
Cool.
Do you want to read them off, please?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you touched on this, but there is a question here. Do you think the greatest challenge we humans face is surviving in nature, or is it about reconnecting with our inner bond to it?
Yeah, wow, that's a profound question. Surviving is easy. All we need is food, clothing, and shelter. That's surviving. That's merely existing rather than living. So to survive in nature is really pretty easy. You can open up a survival book and learn survival skills. You can practice them. You can go to a survival school and learn survival skills. But that is not going to last in the long run because that's just taking care of our physical bodies. We are so much more than that. We are whole beings. We're interconnected beings. What we really need to learn is the qualitative skills, the soft skills, we call them, rather than the hard skills. The hard skills are easy. Anybody can learn to make a fire and build a shelter. That's no big deal. What we really need to focus on is relationship, community. The rest will come from that. And the rest has so much more meaning then. If we have a relationship with fire, to make a fire is easy because the fire already exists in the wood. The fire is just waiting to be released. We don't have to make a fire. That comes from the conquering perspective. We aren't making anything. We are releasing. We are given the privilege to release the fire from the wood. It's just a difference in attitude. It's a difference in perspective.
Right. And then the next question is, how can we strengthen the protection of animals, nature, and indigenous peoples? From your experience, what actually works when it comes to reaching people and touching their hearts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I missed that question. That's a good one. I have some friends and I've known a number of people who've wanted to help preserve the lifeways of the few native people, the few native cultures existing in the world yet, in the Amazon or in Indonesia or in the outback in Australia. And they want to go and visit these people and learn from them and help to protect them, protect their lifeway. But the problem is that whenever we do that, we're doing the opposite because we become what we surround ourselves with. And if we are flooding the Australian Aboriginals who are still living somewhat traditionally, or the Amazonian natives, we're going to visit with them. Just by being there, we are imprinting them with civilization. We can't help it. It's the way we act. It's the way we talk. It's the clothes we wear. It's the food we bring with us. It's the way we wear our hair. It is imprinting them with something that is foreign to them, and it's going to have an effect. So the first thing to do is to let nature be. Don't try to fix things. Nature knows what to do, and that includes natural humans. They know what to do. We just have to get out of their way. Now, in terms of helping that to happen, there are a lot of things we can do even as consumers. One example, a simple example, many of us eat nuts. Some of the nuts we eat, like coconuts. Coconuts are grown on coconut palm trees, and there are many areas in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia where the wet forests are being bulldozed over to plant coconut plantations so that we can have our coconut oil and our coconut milk and all of the coconut products we consume. We are destroying natural habitat by consuming so much coconut. The mangrove swamps in the Philippines are being destroyed because there's money in coconuts. There's something we can do, though. Do you know what Brazil nuts are? I don't know what your term for Brazil nuts is.
Paranötter.
Okay. They can only grow in the jungle, the undisturbed jungle. You cannot plant them in a plantation. They don't live. They don't survive. So many indigenous people are gathering coconut or gathering Brazil nuts and selling them, and that's how they are helping to preserve their land. And this is helping them to supporting their hunter-gatherer lifestyle, and it's giving us a wild nut we can eat, and we are helping to support their being able to live indigenously. So this is one simple example of what we can do.
Okay, then we have some questions in the chat here. Anneli's wondering, can you speak some more about indigenous views on hunting? How to relate to the wild animals and plants we eat?
Yeah, this is something that's very, very close to my heart, and something I'm writing a book on because I really want people to understand this. You know, we see many of us have learned to track, to become trackers, and it reminds me of a friend who went to West Africa and connected with the native people there. He wanted to learn tracking from the people who are actually out there tracking and doing it as a living. And he went to this village, and he walked into the village, and after the usual introductions and greetings, he asked who was their best tracker. He wanted to learn from their best tracker. And they looked at each other, and they didn't understand. They didn't understand tracking, and finally it dawned on them that what he was asking, and they don't see themselves as trackers, because that's just one part of the hunt. They don't practice tracking as a separate skill, and we have done that. We've isolated tracking from the hunt. You know, we can study tracks. We can evaluate ourselves as trackers. We can get a tracking certification. And that is separating ourselves from nature again, because we're making an intellectual pursuit out of it. We're making a study out of what is actually a dance, a spiritual exercise. In the hunt, the hunter and the hunted come together in a dance, and they become one. The hunter is no longer thinking, "Oh, I'm this human, or I'm this wolf chasing an animal," and the animal who is hunted isn't thinking anymore, "Oh boy, I'm a deer. I'm separate from this." No, they are engaged in this dance, and they're moving together. And if you could stop any one of them at midpoint, if you could stop the deer and say, "Would you like to be somewhere else?" The deer would say, "No, this is my life." This is what I live for. I live for the hunt. The wolf is what makes me strong. There's a saying, the wolf is the shepherd of the buffalo. The wolf helps to take care of the buffalo by eating the sick and the aged. And the buffalo wouldn't have it any other way. The buffalo does not want to live without the wolf. They need each other. They love each other. They care for each other, even though they are hunter and hunted. And it's the same with us. The hunt is a dance where we come together, whether we're out gathering berries or gathering greens or fishing or hunting animals. It doesn't matter. It's all the hunt. When we go to the grocery store and we go up and down the aisles to look at what we want to purchase, we are hunting. That's the hunt. That's the way we do it. Just think of it as the hunt. It's coming together in communion. And when we do it with that approach, we're going to do it honorably and we're going to do it respectfully. We're going to respect those we hunt. We're going to respect ourselves. We're going to feel good about what we're doing. And we're contributing to life.
Thank you, Tamarack. We have two more questions. I'll read the second to last one. How do you counter despair? I feel so much darkness connected to environmental destruction, political oppression, consumerism, artificial intelligence, and etc., etc. Much love to us for our hope.
Mm-hmm. Despair is essential. Depression is essential. Falling down in the deepest pit so that we can't see anywhere to go is essential. Every creative person, every visionary will tell you that. They go in cycles. There's this beautiful uplift, this beautiful creative uplift with an artist, a painter, for example. They're just flowing. They're making this beautiful painting. They have this beautiful inspiration. And after it's done, they don't want anything to do with it anymore. They set it aside. And there's a down cycle after that. They might sink into a place of introspection or what other people might see as melancholy or depression. They have to go down there in order to have some time alone to recharge their batteries and be re-inspired again and come up on the other side and come up with this beautiful inspiration again. Life happens in cycles. So rather than taking antidepressants or whatever, allow the cycle to happen. Go there. And when we experience it to the fullest, when we're down as far as we can go, the only way to look is up, and the light is so much brighter. This is the natural way of things. If we can return ourselves to this natural cycle, we're not fighting ourselves. We're not fighting our natures. This is the way of life. So I embrace it. I celebrate it. And when I allow myself to have those quote unquote lows and let myself sink, there's always, every action has a reaction, and I come out all the higher on the other end. I'm all the more inspired. Hope that helps.
Yes, and the last question. What is the essence of humans, the role of humans in the world to you?
Our role is to take our place in the hoop of relations, to return to that place. We have a very special place in creation, and that's no different than any other plant or animal. They all have a very special and unique place. We are special. We should not put ourselves down. Everybody else is special too. The wolf is special. The whale is special. The pine tree is special. If we take our place, we're going to do all right. Don't take any more than our place or any less than our place, but just take our place. We will find our own balance, the balance that's intended for humans.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? I think maybe like what exactly our role is, I think is the question.
Yeah. We need to take care of ourselves. And what happens in civilization is that we have needs. We have needs for comfort. We have needs for relationship. We have needs for providing for our children. And when we come from this place of need, we're coming from a place of scarcity. We never have enough. You know, we're concerned, we have little children, we're concerned about they're going to college someday, and we have to save up money for that. Or, oh, what am I going to do for a job? Or what if I don't get this degree? I'm not going to qualify for a good job. Or I have to buy a house, so I have something to pass on to my children. We're always coming from this place of scarcity. We have to buy, we have to consume, we have to learn. Always, it's always pulling things in toward us. And we are vastly over-consuming because of it. We all have to have our own car. We all have to, if we have a lawn, we all have to have our own lawnmower. On and on and on and on, just to do what we think is taking care of ourselves. And we're doing the opposite. One of the principles that the elders have taught me is that giving is receiving. Instead of seeing what I can get, I need to see what I can give. How can I help somebody else? How can I help and support the mother? Because by giving, I'm creating an opening inside myself. Now I have space for relationship. I have created an opening where I can truly commune with somebody else, when I can truly commune with nature. And if people see that I am open and sharing and caring and nurturing, they're going to help take care of me just naturally. Because that's the way we are. We are social beings. We are drawn to each other. If I see somebody who is out to get whatever they can get, I feel mistrustful around that person because I know that person is going to be competitive with me or use me in some way, and I'm not going to feel close to that person. I might be friendly with that person, but am I a real friend of that person? No. So it really comes from this place of abundance, of knowing who I am and what I have to share. What I have been given is for giving, for helping, supporting, caring for others, and that I will be taken care of. And I trust in that. I took a vow of poverty when I was 21 years of age. I don't own anything. I don't have anything in my name. And I am well taken care of. I don't worry about money. I don't worry about things. And still, there's money when I need it. There's transportation when I need it. There are other people there to provide for me. So I just give and share, and I don't worry about anything else. Hope that helps.
All right, Tamarack, thank you so much for all of this. We've gone for almost 2 hours now, so I think it's time to round this up. We will get together with you again later this turn of the seasons in the winter, when there's hopefully snow on the ground. I just wanted to touch on, I think you might have a elder hour tomorrow. Do you? Is that true, or
I think so. It might be Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're doing something called the Elder Hour. So if there's people that have more questions and they want to listen to, it's you and your mate Letty who are having this hour where people can just come and ask whatever questions. You want to share some more about that?
Yeah, it's an hour that where any topic is welcome. Any topic you'd like to share, any stories you'd like to tell, we'd be glad to have you. It'd be beautiful to see you again. And Johan, maybe you can share the link to the Elder Hour with your students.
Yes, I'll do that.
Great. Well,
all right. Thank you so much, Tamarack. Do you want to say some closing words?
Oh, and thank you. Beautiful sharing with you. I feel honored. If ever you have any questions or anything I can help or support you with, just please let me know, and I'd be glad to do what I can. Till next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tamarack.
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank each and all of you. Thank you.
Right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
night.